just hype all around this. Lacey was hoping there'd be a shirtless scene, and there will be a shirtless scene.
I got a booty.
Yeah, so The Cat in the Hat, starring Bill Hader,
Oh.
hitting theaters February.
You're an ass. To be fair, I thought he was going top to bottom on this list, and he started, pun intended, at the bottom.
You got that cat booty coming at you.
Cat booty.
Welcome everybody to Nerdy and Nice. I'm John. Thank you for being with us today. I know you probably, especially our US listeners, you're probably a little bummed out. Anytime, it's after a holiday weekend, it's Monday, back to work. We get it. We're here, we work, we understand.
Yep.
That's why we're here, to put you in a good mood. Kick off your week with a good time, and we have a lot to talk about. Lacey, we are going to review the end of Squid Game at the end of the show, but we've both watched it. Just in one sentence to tease what your review is going to be. If you can do it in one sentence, close out Squid Game.
They should have kept it at one season.
Oh, all right. There you go. We told you we'd bring the spice sometimes, and we will. But we will talk Squid Game later. We'll give a full spoiler review of the final season, part, whatever you want to call it. But we hope everyone had a safe 4th of July here in the U.S. Hope you had a great weekend wherever you are. I am going to see Superman on Tuesday. I got the IMAX scenario set up, taking Johnny to go see it. Very excited for that.
I'm excited for you. That's going to be a great father-son movie.
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know if you have plans to see it yet, but I might be down to see it twice if it's really good. But either way, I hope you get a chance
only
to
if
see
you
it
want to go. I don't think I'm going otherwise.
Oh, yeah? Matt's not a Superman guy? No?
Not really. No.
All right. Can't drag Bill Gill to the theater for some Superman?
Honestly, I think what was the last movie I saw with my dad? Was it The Force Awakens? I think it was The Force Awakens. It was either Guardians or The Force Awakens. One of those. Those were the last movies I saw with my dad.
Okay. Yeah, I've been in the movies with my dad.
Whatever one came, I think Guardians came after Force Awakens, no?
The first Guardians was probably before Force Awakens.
Oh, well. Those are the last two movies I saw with my father.
All right, so that's a no. Yeah, maybe. I hope it's great, and I hope I want to go see it again, so I'd be down for that.
Cool.
But yeah, everyone go see Superman. Hopefully it's awesome. Hopefully it makes us feel hopeful and good. And hopefully this episode of Nerdy and Nice makes you feel hopeful and good, because we have a lot of fun topics to get into. Lacey, do we want to just jump into it, or do you have anything you want to toss out to our wonderful audience?
I just hope that anybody that bought multiple screenings of Superman end up liking it. I saw someone say that they are going 5 times in 5 different 2D, 3D, 4DX, IMAX 3D, multiple versions. And they were like, if I don't like this movie, then I'm in trouble.
Holy cow.
I mean, that's dedication.
And is that all in the span of a few days too?
Yes.
There's not man. All right.
Yeah,
That's
it was
confidence.
7th, 8th, 9th, 11th, 12th, I think.
Who was it? James Gunn who said this?
No, it was I want to give him credit. It was Adam from Heroes Reforged.
Oh, okay.
He's a big Superman guy, and he said he was seeing it all those days in all the different formats, and he was like, I really hope I end up liking this movie, otherwise I'm in trouble. And I was like, yeah, you are. Yeah, that's an investment, by the way. Movie tickets are expensive.
Yeah, dude probably dropped a couple $100 depending on if it's, he's flying solo, no pun intended, or going with people. Snacks. Yeah, the Superman cup, the doggy bowl that Lacey's going to eat her popcorn out of like a dog, probably. Yeah. Although you're not really a dog person, right?
I've had dogs my whole life.
How come you don't have any dogs, but you have cats? Explain that. Briefly.
Matt's not a dog person. And then has somewhat turned me into not dog person. Dogs are great. I love petting dogs. I love playing with dogs. I love seeing cute dogs. But kind of like people feel with babies. Like once you're done with
Mm.
the baby, you can hand it back if it's not your baby. That's how I feel about dogs. Like you can give the dog back to its owner once you've
Oh, okay.
played with the dog. I
Fair
like
enough.
dogs. I like your dog.
Ralphie. Yep, he's a
Yeah.
good guy. Good man. Yeah. He could be a menace sometimes, but in a fun way. All right, let us get into the main news stories of the day, Lacey. Let's go.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Enough, I get the point.
Talking a lot about Superman, but we also have Batman news. And that's the news is that Matt Reeves has finished writing the script for the Batman 2, which by the way has no connection to the Superman. We've already understand from James Gunn saying that this Batman is its own kind of multiverse Batman. This is not the Batman for his cinematic universe. So he posted a picture of him and is it his brother or someone that was writing with him, writing partner?
His co-writer, yeah.
His co-writer, kind of out of focus, with a spotlight going across the screenplay with the logo of the bat. Very clever. And it says partners in crime, and then it put parenthesis fighters, bat, bat, bat emoji. So, yeah, it was originally announced in April 2022, and it is set to come out October 1st in 2027. Are you excited for this film? I liked the first one. I surprisingly am the biggest person that was like, this makes no sense to have Robert Pattinson play this role. And I was shut right up because he was great. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked the Batman also. I think I've only seen it once though. Now that I think about it,
I've only seen it once too.
yeah, it's a slow burn. It's definitely noir. It's very like a thick graphic novel type of movie, and I did enjoy it, but I was always wondering what was going to happen with this. And the more you hear about Matt Reeves this, Matt Reeves that, you start thinking like, well, the DCU's cracking now. James Gunn's probably about to cast his Batman. Maybe this just doesn't happen. And even Robert Pattinson didn't seem to know what was going on. I think what really was the lifeblood for this was the Penguin series being so good. And I think that added a certain level of muscle to this different universe that this Batman's in, that I think it added a new pocket of fandom who maybe they didn't see the Batman, or they were like, yeah, that was fine, but then you see like this amazing series about the Penguin and what that can involve for the Batman too. So I think that added to this, but hearing that it's done is cool. It's 2.5 years away. I think October 2027 release, so it's gonna be over 5 years or so, more than 5 years since the release of the Batman. So rewatches will be needed, especially for a movie that long. But I'm always excited for any iterations of Batman. I mean, the Batman comics had all different storylines, and this happened to Batman, and then in the storyline, it's a different Robin, and they change things all the time. So the fact that there's the DCU, and then also Matt Reeves Batman, I think there's room for all this stuff. I think this definitely means that we shouldn't expect a DCU Batman movie in 2027. So we can probably cross that off the calendar, and you won't get one in 2026. So at the earliest, we're going to get a Batman movie from DCU 2028 or thereafter.
I think it's going to be later. They're not going to do back-to-back Batman movies.
Yeah, who knows? But we are going to get that DCU Batman eventually. It's just a matter of how they're going to work him in. And he may make his debut somewhere else. He may be in Superman for all we know. I don't know. They may have pulled the wool over our eyes. But with this, I like Matt Reeves, and I did enjoy that movie, so I'm excited to see that the script is done, and it looks like it is going to be moving forward, finally, after all these wonderments about what was going on.
Yeah, and the date kept getting pushed back. I think they pushed it back twice for when the movie was going to come out, and I'm assuming it's because of the rework of the timeline with James Gunn, but then also it seems like Matt Reeves was like, look, I need more time to do this the right way.
Yep. Yeah.
I like that filmmakers are doing these little teases. I like that they're coming from them and not a studio. It feels more genuine to me. So I like that. I I'm interested to see where it goes. Like you said, the Penguin show definitely has had an impact on the storyline and where it could go next. I wasn't a big fan of the Joker in that one. What's his name? Like
Mm,
Barry Kogan or whatever. He's the guy that cheated on Sabrina Carpenter. Hate that guy. Get him out of there.
mm.
Not a fan. And not a fan of that Joker either. Away from him. Not a fan of that version of the Joker. I feel like we've gotten so much Joker that I need a little break from Joker. I need a different villain. Someone
How about
else.
Sabrina Carpenter as Harley Quinn?
I would take it. But not them together.
No, I know.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny to me, being obviously huge Star Wars fans. We talk about the volume a lot with The Mandalorian and other shows like Obi-Wan Kenobi, which we just talked about last week. But one of the biggest photos that I see with articles about the volume is from the Batman, and it's that shot of him and Catwoman at the top of that
Yeah.
skyscraper with the sunset in the background.
Yep.
That is the one they use for the volume all the time. That's not Star Wars. So, if they can continue to make a movie that's a superhero movie, but shot beautifully like that one is, the Batman, it just looks so great. The music is so iconic that I'm interested to see where they take it in the next one.
Oh yeah, you think Michael Giacchino's coming back?
Oh yeah, def.
Yeah. All right.
Or he could hand it off to his son.
He could. Mick could do it. Yep.
Definitely do
That
it.
yeah. That was like part of the biggest selling point for me for that Batman was the music. Cause I was like, man, we've gotten 2 amazing different Batman scores now. How many can they do? And then he's
Yeah.
like, check this out. And you're like, man, he's like, they
Totally
did it too.
different. Totally
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. Any other thoughts on Batman? Or are we gonna
No, just love
put the
Batman.
pedal to the
and
metal for the next story?
I hope it's good. Yeah. Let's do this. I haven't seen a bunch of these, but let's go.
So my car joke was because the next story is about Fast and the Furious, which I
Mhm.
still have a Fast and the Furious, the last one on Blu-ray sitting in my house that I haven't watched yet. Whatever one was like the yellow one. Is that 10X?
Yeah, that's because you live your life a quarter mile at a time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although I will still argue with anybody, my favorite Fast and Furious is still Tokyo Drift. That soundtrack's amazing. The characters are amazing. I loved Japan. I've been to Japan now, so I've seen
Right.
the locations.
Are there any 7-Elevens in Tokyo Drift?
I don't know. There might be. They definitely go to like cafes and stuff, like automats. But like we were in Shibuya Scramble where they race
Yeah.
the cars through the crosswalk.
We were
I
there.
was like, remember I said that to you? I was like, this is where they shot Tokyo Drift. And you were like, I have no what? What are you I was
Yeah.
like, this is where they put the cars. Which probably, by the way, they definitely shot it on a soundstage or something. They probably didn't actually shoot it there.
Probably.
But
Yeah.
I was like, this is where they shot it. Anyway, Vin Diesel is promising more Fast and the Furious, and specifically the return of Paul Walker, which is an interesting thing to promise, seeing as Paul Walker unfortunately passed in 2013. So typical of movie studios, they went to Vin Diesel and they were like, look, can we please have a finale of the Fast and the Furious in April 2027? Very specific timeline. And Diesel said he had 3 conditions. His conditions were 1, they have to bring the franchise back to LA and shoot in LA. They have to return to the car culture and the street racing. And the third thing was reuniting his character with Walker's character, Brian O'Connor, which, as we know from the previous films, that they've kind of worked around it where they had Paul's brothers sit in for him. And they used him in them in some shots and then did some CG magic. So, I mean, question. Would you be cool with a deep fake CG Paul Walker on screen with Vin Diesel, John?
Till I see you again. You know?
Just right off a cliff.
Yeah. I would be totally fine with that because rest in peace, and he seemed like a great guy. Paul Walker, not the best actor. So I think
I feel like he'd be for it, honestly. He'd be like, yeah, why not?
He'd probably be for it. He seemed like a pretty chill dude, pretty down to earth guy. Everything you hear about him, everyone said he was such a nice guy. He wasn't the best actor, in my opinion. But yeah, the family seemed to have always been behind it, so it doesn't seem like it'd be a surprise. I'm just curious how they're gonna work that in, because I know it was a few movies ago where they had him, drive off. So is it a final scene cameo and they all put yeah, they do this reunion where it's like a Shawshank, like Vin Diesel's character like swims up on a dinghy to like some island and Brian's there and he's got keys and they race one more time.
There.
I'm getting all choked up for this franchise I don't watch.
Brian.
Oh no, not Brian O'Connor. No, but I think that's cool for the fans because Vin Diesel, like I've joked about this for a very long time about this franchise. Like I remember when the first movie came out, they were literally racing for pink slips and like they were running DVD players out of the back of trucks. That was it. That was this movie.
Were bending over cars, showing their booties.
Yes, a lot of that.
But then during the day, they were all like seemingly not working and just hanging out, eating food and like a picnic table.
Drinking beers, yeah. And then it got exponentially bigger. The Rock gets involved, so like you got his steroids.
The government's involved. There's like stolen missiles and nuclear weapons.
John Cena gets involved, I think. You got all these steroids involved, and then they inject steroids into the plot, and then all of a sudden they're flying cars, and it gets absolutely. I think Jason Momoa was a villain at one point. I don't know what happened with that.
A couple times. Like a couple of the characters have died, but then not died.
Michelle Rodriguez, yes.
Yeah.
So if they bring it back, there was a lot of just ridiculousness, and I always thought like, isn't this just supposed to be about people who like to race cars? And it's like, hasn't this franchise done enough damage where I'm driving down the road today and there's still people with coffee cans on their mufflers and body kits? I'm like, good Lord. So bring it back to the roots, do it one last time. And I like the fact that he's, listening to the fans or whatever. So good for them. And I hope the fans of that franchise enjoy it. Cause man, these movies make a lot of money. I don't love them, but the people who like them absolutely love them. So I hope they get I hope their episode 9 is great. You know what I mean? Which is actually their episode 11, because this is Fast 10 Part 2, and that will close out the franchise, and that'll be it. So good for them, and good luck.
Fast and Furious, drift. That is one of my favorite memes online. Is when people use the soundtrack of Tokyo Drift to like make jokes. Like this one is this girl that said like when she's racing her GPS and beats the time by 2 minutes, and then she like poses and then it plays the Tokyo Drift soundtrack.
That's pretty clever.
Because that is exactly how I always feel when I'm like, oh, you told me 27, I got there in 23.
Oh, I'll never forget that one time we were at some restaurant after, like for a happy hour or whatever, and I'm like, how do I get back to whatever road it was?
Take a left.
And you're like, just follow me. And you take a left, like across traffic, and you beeline out of there. And I swear your car was in the air like Cruella DeVille going over those snowy hills in 101 Dalmatians. I've never seen someone burn out of a parking lot as though like I was chasing you or something, like it was a Gene Hackman movie.
French Connection.
Yes.
Get out of here. Oh my gosh.
So I don't imagine, I can imagine that you are regularly beating your GPS while losing whatever your tail is.
No, after having kids, I am definitely a better driver than I was.
Holy hell. I don't think, have I ever been in a car with you driving?
And
have you ever been in a car with me driving?
No.
That's wild.
I don't think so. That is weird. That is very weird. I think it's because we're both coming from separate locations that it's like it doesn't make sense to carpool.
Well, you know what we have to do now?
Carpool somewhere.
Race for our pink slips.
Fast and Furious.
The TRB race for the pink slips.
Okay, random story. I remember in high school going to a certain location where they actually did that stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and being in the area while it was going on, and then cops showing up and being like, "Go, go, go," and then getting in people's cars and getting out of there.
Oh, okay. So you were
You
one of the hanger-ons? So you weren't driving, you were just hanging out?
I was not driving. I was just in the area of
What does in the area mean?
activities.
Like, were you hanging out with the people, or were you like behind a bush watching to go tell on them? Like, who?
No, I was in the parking lot next to where people were racing cars.
Okay.
I don't want to say the location because I don't want to give it away,
No.
but it's near a very popular grocery store, and people
They're
would
still
just
racing to this day.
they might be. It's like a
Mhm.
solid straightaway that like nobody goes on because it's parallel with the highway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's probably different now though. But
Oh, totally.
back then in high school, it was like, oh my god, and it was right around the height of that too, of Fast and Furious. So I think people like thought they.
So people
Anyway.
were racing, and then Lacey's like, "Hey guys, I'm just here to hang out."
No, like I was with a friend, and the friend was like, "Oh, we're gonna go to this place." I'm like, "Okay." So we went, and then they were racing cars, and I was like, "This seems like a bad idea."
So your friend was racing?
No, he knew people that were racing.
So you guys were the losers. You guys were the nerds.
I was not a loser. Why was I a loser?
Because you were the friend of the person going who still wasn't a racer. So you were like second degree watching in a way.
He had a nice car, so I think he wanted to race it, but then it got broken up by the cops.
He called the cops because he was too scared to race.
He had an Audi, like he was like ready to race it. Which, by the way, who would have had an Audi at 17? But this kid did. Anyway, going on to the next story, which is this one totally caught me off guard. I didn't even know this was happening. Did you know this one? The next one was happening?
Zero idea.
I feel like I'm out of the loop, like I'm an idiot because
Yeah.
I had no idea, and I'm usually up on these things.
She's cashing in though.
They are making a Tower of Terror movie. Which, what? If they don't do the version in Japan, what are they doing? But they're making a Tower of Terror version
Yeah.
with Scarlett Johansson. She is like, Disney, pay me. Universal, pay me. Oh, Jennifer Lawrence, you don't want to do that movie? I'll do it. Like, she doesn't care. She's getting her money. Good for her.
Yeah.
But she gave some
Well, let's
info.
be honest. Weekend Update is probably not paying the mortgage.
Absolutely not. Colin has banked it with her in numerous ways. So Scarlett Johansson is giving an update to Entertainment Weekly, and she basically says, look, they're working on it, but it is, quote, a hard nut to crack. Harder than you think because the ride itself, there's just some lore to it. But it's, I don't want to say thin, but it is kind of. She says, but they're working on it and fleshing it out. But she says it's a blue sky project. It's a mystery of the ride. It's fun to work on. It's starting to take shape, which is basically no information whatsoever. But I know I sent this story to you, John, because I was just like, I didn't even know this was happening. Like, of all the rides to do a story about, I wouldn't pick this one only because people have such strong feelings about it. Also, they did do the Steve Guttenberg one in like the 90s with Kirsten Dunst. Do you remember that?
No.
They did the Tower of Terror movie.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No.
You don't remember this movie?
No.
It was from the 90s. Disney's Tower of Terror, 1997, with Steve Guttenberg and Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, and I'm good friends with Steve Guttenberg. You didn't tell me anything about this.
Are you?
No, but I want to be.
The Hollywood Reporter called it a thrill ride.
So why don't we have to watch this. We need to watch this.
I've seen it. You haven't seen it? They used to play it around Halloween every year on the Disney Channel. I don't know if they still do, but they used to.
I was too old for the Disney Channel.
Oh, you were right before right before that time.
Yeah.
97's like heyday for me. We got Parent Trap. We got Buffy. We got Titanic. We got Tower of Terror.
I watched Buffy and Titanic.
I know, but I'm saying like that was like a prime kind of core year for me in adolescence was 97, 98, 99. Like those 3 years. Kind of made me who I am.
I didn't know anything about that movie either. That's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Such a good movie. And by good movie, I mean it's probably terrible, but little me remembers it being good.
Is it on Disney Plus? Probably not.
It's on Amazon.
Oh.
Oh, you can buy it for $38.54.
Get out of here. Who's buying that movie for $38?
I might.
You could buy like the 50th anniversary of Jaws 3 times.
But it's Steve Guttenberg.
Which by the way, that the 50th anniversary Jaws thing, I didn't put it in the show notes. That comes out on Disney Plus on Friday.
What's different about it?
It's a documentary. No, it's about
I thought you were saying like it's a version of the film. I'm like, okay, what is it?
Yeah, they add Steve Guttenberg into it.
Poor Steve Guttenberg. He seems like a really nice guy.
He does seem like a really nice guy.
Isn't he? Wasn't he like fighting the fires and stuff? Like, wasn't he doing
he was in the mix. Yeah.
Yeah. He was like moving people's cars and stuff for the firefighters.
He has $1 million smile. Like it's hard. Like I imagine it hard for people. Like Steve Guttenberg's probably one of those guys that hasn't run into a lot of people who hasn't liked him in his life because he has a nice smile. It's like
I just remember 3 Men and the Baby, and that was such a big movie for me.
That movie's great. Yeah.
I loved that movie growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Good movie.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on this Tower of Terror movie? And does it need to be the Japan version? Because I think it does.
That Japan ride was awesome. And it's scarier.
The best version.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like they're just doing the Twilight Zone version for this. And to me, it sounds like when she's saying tough nut to crack, like it's not the only thing that makes this tough is they're trying to find 90 minutes worth of story. That's what she means by this is a tough nut to crack.
You mean it's only 3 minutes and 42 seconds of, God.
Exactly. So, and the question is like, because they did the Haunted Mansion movie, I think twice actually,
Eddie
right?
Murphy.
Didn't they? Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
And then the other one that I didn't see.
Are they making another version of Haunted Mansion or that already happened?
That was the one that came out on Disney Plus.
That was the Eddie Murphy one?
No, the one after that was the one that the guy was doing the Lando project and then they fired him and he found out on the red carpet for Haunted Mansion.
So what was it, like comedy horror sort of?
Yeah, it had like Owen Wilson, Rosario Dawson.
I wonder if they're going to try to be serious with this or if this is going to have a light spirit to it. I don't know. Or if they're just trying to like do a Twilight Zone vibe, which is sort of hokey and scary. Yeah, I'm not going to see this probably. And maybe they're like, we're so sorry for Black Widow that we're going to give you the entire Tower of Terror.
Don't sue us.
Yeah. the whole Tower of Terror is yours. And she's like, all right, guys, I'm taking the Tower of Terror, but I hate Aerosmith, and I don't want to look at that ride when I'm on my Tower of Terror, so you get rid of it. And they're like, fine, we'll get rid of it. We'll dump the Muppets in there. She's perfect. We're in.
Oh, it's such a sore subject, the Muppets. Can we?
Yeah.
Because they also did a Haunted Mansion with the Muppets.
Oh, yeah.
They also did.
The Muppets need to be saved.
Someone save them. Someone buy them out, please. Yeah. Please. Anyone.
All the whole gene line of the Hensons don't seem to be all that interested. So someone else has to get in. Anyone, yeah, like Jason Segel tried. Like you need a creative person who smokes a lot of weed and another guy like that. You'll have Frank Oz and Jim Henson, and there you go.
Yeah, the problem is, which is this is its own conversation, honestly, with the Muppets, is that Disney bought them out and then turned them into a commercial product and not into a creative medium like what they originally were used for. They turned around and were like, we're going to put them in Geico commercials. Yeah. And all the original voices, like people that were like Stephen Whitmore, I believe his last name is, the guy that was chosen by Jim to carry on the voice of Kermit, and from Brian Henson as well, said, I don't think we should be doing this with Kermit. Jim wouldn't like this. And Disney was like, you're fired.
That reminds me, did you see, I tweeted about this. Did you see that promo that Disney did with Kermit And I don't know. I don't remember
Was
what
it
it
the
was
Super
for.
Bowl where they did the hotels, booking hotels?
It was. Hi everyone. The Muppets are packing up and moving to Sunset Boulevard for their first ever coaster. So it was the promo for the new Muppet coaster.
Oh god.
And the voice that did Kermit was so horrible.
Because they fired the other guy and brought in their little minion to do whatever they wanted.
But I'm sorry. It sounds nothing like Kermit. It was like almost jarring. And I'm like, they published that?
Yeah.
It was so bad. I'll send it to you. I wish we will.
It's probably AI.
Oh God. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's bad if you haven't seen it. Like you'll be like, holy cow, that sounds nothing like Kermit. Like you and I could probably do a better Kermit, and we can't do Kermit. So.
Speaking of bad, we do have some, well, at least one bad trailer to talk about.
Yeah, you ready to dig into the trailers? Let's go.
Let's do it.
Oh God, I love that movie.
Okay, trailer time, and we're gonna start things off with just hype all around this. Lacey was hoping there'd be a shirtless scene, and there will be a shirtless scene.
I got a booty.
Yeah, so The Cat in the Hat, starring Bill Hader, hitting theaters February.
You're an ass. To be fair, I thought he was going top to bottom on this list, and he started, pun intended, at the bottom.
You got that cat booty coming at you.
Cat booty.
Like the cat butthole gate from Cats or whatever.
Gosh. Yeah, that was
survived that one.
I don't know how. She was not good.
We got the Cat in the Hat starring Bill Hader. People probably remember the terrible live action version with Mike Myers, as he was on the descent of his career at the time. But we have the Cat in the Hat, Bill Hader, animated style. It seems like the same animated style as that Grinch that Benedict Cumberbatch did. Do you remember that?
I watched that Grinch film last year. Like,
yeah.
I'm not even joking. Every other day for a month and a half.
With the Pharrell music? Yeah.
Pharrell ruined the Grinch for me. I went on a rant, remember? I said he ruined it. I was like, I've never heard anybody read a story with less care or any type of feeling than Pharrell.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, Pharrell, can you do the music? He's like, yeah, but only if I get to read it. And they were like, okay. And they could have had anybody read that.
Yeah.
I digress. But yeah, it looks similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Had it been about big hats, maybe he would have been more enthusiastic. But
and no pants, apparently, from the Met Gala, which all the women he dressed, he didn't let them wear pants.
No pants?
No pants.
Wow. I'm sure you got a firmly written letter by Hillary Clinton. The cat pantsuits. Come on. The Cat in the Hat, Bill Hader, theaters February 27th. Maybe a little birthday date for you and Matt to go see The Cat in the Hat next year for your birthday.
10 days after my birthday.
Yeah.
Just a casual 10-day later.
Yeah.
Well, more like 8 days, but yeah.
What'd you think of this? Are you a Dr. Seuss fan? Were you a fan growing up? Cat in the Hat. What do you think of this trailer? We both like Bill Hader, but how about The Cat in the Hat?
I do like Bill Hader. I think he's hilarious. Some of the funniest stuff to come out of SNL is him.
Oh, my favorite all-time SNL performer.
Really?
Yes, he's the best.
Wow, mine's Will Ferrell. I think Will Ferrell is my
can't go
number
wrong
one.
with Will Ferrell. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if it's because it's a trailer and not the finished product. This trailer looks unfinished. I feel like studios are cheaping out with this computer animated stuff, and it just doesn't look good. To be fair, going back to what we just said about the Grinch looks great. Like the scenery, the backdrops, the way like the overall aesthetic of the Grinch animated looks amazing.
Yep.
The only issue I had with it was effing Pharrell. If they cut him out, I'd love that movie. This, I think Bill Hader's great, and there were a couple moments, and John knows because you watched me watch it, that I did chuckle, and they're comical. And am I going to go see this? No, but I'm sure my daughter would love it if I put it on the TV and watched it, and she's the core audience, so I'm sure it will do great. I just
Are
hope
you
they do a better job on the animation.
are you guys sort of is she getting close to seeing a movie in theaters? Because Daisy is starting to now. She's gone a couple times. My Daisy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My Daisy's 6 months younger than yours. So she's intelligent enough and I think seemingly has the patience for it. Because she does watch Frozen a lot and she'll sit and watch it. Like she doesn't
Exactly.
get up and walk
Yeah.
around. But I don't know. I don't know what her first movie's going to be. I don't know if I'm building it up in my head of like I want it to be this amazing thing. So we'll wait and see what movie it is. But yeah, this could be something that she goes and sees.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids saw Elio, the new Pixar.
Oh, did they like it?
Yeah, I think they liked it. Yeah.
Did you
They
like
came
it?
back.
Did you see it?
I didn't go. I was
Oh.
working. But they just went by themselves. They were fine.
You just dropped them off.
No, Kathleen took them and met up with one of her teacher friends. But they came back and they were like telling me the story, so that like they did pay attention and they got like the moral of the story and stuff. So they seem to enjoy it. I heard it didn't do very well, but my kids contributed Disney, so anyway.
I think I got to do more movie nights in my household. Not to train her per se, but to like get a vibe of where she's at because she's seen Frozen so many times. That's her go-to. For a while, it was Frozen 2. She's back on Frozen 1 again. But she's starting to get afraid of things. Like she's afraid of marshmallow now. So
oh yeah,
that's
my
a new
kids were
thing
too.
that yeah, but she didn't used to be. And now all of a sudden she's like sensing fear. And I'm
Mhm.
like, oh no, like what does this mean? So I try to keep her to Mr. Rogers,
Yeah.
Bluey, Bear in the Big Blue House. She recently got into, in the past 2-3 months ago, Thomas the Tank Engine, like the original one with George Carlin.
Mhm.
So just trying to slow her down a little bit, like just
Alright.
mellow her out.
Yeah. I think once your kid can watch a live action movie and like sit down, that's a good test. And like
That is a good test.
I think Daisy watched Matilda with Kathleen.
Ooh, I love Matilda. Great choice.
Yeah. Yeah, she liked that.
I love that movie.
And then
That's a great
who's-
movie, by the way. Danny
it is pretty
DeVito,
good. Yeah.
great movie.
And then we went to Lilo and Stitch, and she sat
Oh,
through that.
right.
Yeah.
Did you liked that one, you said?
I did. It was sad.
Yeah.
Johnny got very emotional during one of the
Oh,
incidents.
he's
Yeah.
got a lot of feelings.
He
Johnny's got a lot
does.
of big feelings.
He's a big feeling guy. Yeah. But yeah, Cat in the Hat. I'm rooting for Bill Hader. I hope it does great. We'll see. My kids like that Grinch we were just talking about, the Benedict Cumberbatch one.
Daisy
so they might
loves
like
it.
They might like this. Then we may go see this. We'll see. It looks all right. But move on to something completely different. Project Hail Mary. I haven't read the book, but Lord and Miller are tackling this one, and people love them. And of course, they love Ryan Gosling. So out of the gate, it seems like a great package deal. It's hitting theaters March 20th next year. I'll start here. I found this to be very interesting. For whatever reason, the Harry Styles music choice, was that Harry Styles?
It is, and
The Sign of the Times or whatever?
I was not a big fan of that.
That it worked. The song worked here for me, and I'm not like a Harry Styles fan necessarily. But it also just seems like a unique movie, and those are hard to come by. I also, though, like I love Christopher Nolan. I haven't sat down and watched Interstellar because the idea of me getting lost in space and coming home and my kids are like 100 years old and dying and I didn't see my kids, I can't watch that. I can't.
Have you
watch
seen The
something like that.
Martian with Matt Damon?
No.
Because that's from the same author from this movie.
That's the thing. Like
clearly, this author loves astronauts.
Yeah, and I like that there's humor here, and he's interacting with an alien, and that gives me like vibes of like Flight of the Navigator and that stuff. So I just don't want to see a guy have to go off in space, use his entire existence and then die or something. Like again,
But he clearly doesn't have family in the movie. Like he's not.
Still, I feel bad for the guy. I don't know. like in even that crappy Spielberg movie AI, like I felt so bad for the kid. You know, it's like
That
people,
bothered me. I saw that
pe-
so young because I was like, oh,
yeah,
Spielberg, it's got to be this big thing. And it was the big thing he did instead of Harry Potter. I remember that. And I
yeah,
remember watching with my parents and being so unsettled at the end. I couldn't even tell you what that movie was about, but the end of like New York City being underwater and like frozen and everything, like it just destroyed me as a child.
yeah. It was sort of like a weird, convoluted Pinocchio story. Really, I think this boy wanted to be real.
Yeah.
But anyway, seeing people like eternally alone is I hate that. So
Because humans aren't
this
meant to be alone.
I'm right. And so this
Yeah.
I don't know about this. It does look really good. It's a great trailer in my opinion. I think Ryan Gosling's going to be excellent in it, and I think Lord and Miller are great. So I'm probably going to see it. We'll see what happens around next March. It'd be hard pressed to say I'm going to see it in theaters unless people are raving about this thing, but I am interested in it. I'll say that. What about you?
I am not interested in this. It looks very depressing, and it's the last thing I need right now.
Oh,
I
fair.
do think Ryan Gosling looks funny in it. He has his moments, like he's like kind of like, "What, me, huh?"
Yeah.
And I do think this screams Oscar nominee
Oh,
on it
all right.
for him at
Well,
least, because it's very
Cool.
him heavy. You know,
Mhm.
he carries a lot of the moments being in
Sort of
space.
like the
So
Sandra Bullock in her space movie. What was with George Clooney?
Gravity.
Gravity. Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Why is my voice cracking? Am I going through puberty again today?
What'd you
Maybe
say
it's
before?
Benjamin.
You were like Paul Walker.
Yeah. Maybe I'm in a Benjamin Button scenario right now. I don't know.
Oh God.
All right. Last trailer, Running Man, the adaptation of the Stephen King novel, which they stress in the trailer. They do not say a remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Definitely a different take. From what I hear, way more faithful to Stephen King's novel. Again, dystopian vibes. That is a very popular trend right now, even though we are
I
feeling like
hate it.
we're in dystopian times. Oh, spider! Spider! Got him. Not today, pal. Anyway,
You just
sorry.
said that, and I literally looked at. I was like,
I
like
felt
you're
bad
gonna
because they say leave spiders alone, but I don't know, man. He's crawling down towards my monitor. He had to go. Sorry, buddy. But anyway,
sacrifices were made.
for audio listeners, I saw a spider crawling down, and he had to go. All right. Anyway, Lacey, a much different version than the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic, which I had watched recently. It's about 40 years old. If you haven't seen Arnold's Running Man, it is
I
a
have
very Arnold movie that takes place in a dystopian United States, a military state type of reality. And now we have this version, which is quite different. It hits theaters November 7th, directed by Edgar Wright. Josh Brolin stars alongside our lead, Glen Powell. Lacey, what'd you think of the trailer? We've been talking about this movie for a little while now, and are you vibing this version of The Running Man?
It's weird seeing Glen Powell with dark brown hair. I'm
Mm.
used to him being a blonde guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's thrown me off a little bit. This is an entertaining trailer. Edgar Wright, I love his work. I have liked a lot of his previous movies, Baby Driver. Oh my God, I'm blanking. The one with the boyfriends. Oh my God. The anime one.
Shaun of the Dead?
No. Shaun of the Dead is fine. No, it's the one with
Oh,
Michael
Scott
Cera.
Pilgrim?
Scott Pilgrim. Oh my God, I love Scott Pilgrim. I can't believe I just blanked on that name. Scott Pilgrim's great. And so I trust that he's going to do a good job here. It looks entertaining. I knew immediately Josh Brolin's voice. I was like, oh, so Josh Brolin's in this.
Oh, yeah.
He just has one of those voices. I think it's going to be funny. I'll see it. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters. I find that I say that a lot, but I'll probably see it on digital streaming.
Yeah. Is that it? That's all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, it's very it doesn't really give you it's like it reminds me very much of Hunger Games, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's like Hunger Games / that movie you were talking about a while ago with John Cena in it that you watched on the
Jackpot.
plane. Yeah, or the other game that had other movie that had Emma Roberts in it, where she's playing with James Franco or Dave Franco, and they're in a video game and everybody's against them. They like vote for them
Yes.
to die, that kind of thing.
Yep.
It's like that. It's playing off the whole kind of social media, you against the world, dystopian. What will you do to make money?
Right.
And we're about to go into a big load of that with Squid Game. I don't know. It looked action packed. It looked interesting. Obviously, Glen Powell is Glen Powell. He's good at what he does. He picks the good movies. He knows what he's doing.
Mhm.
So I look forward to seeing it. I just don't know if I'm going to see it in the theater.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I might see it in the theater because I do like Glen Powell a lot. I am a big fan of Josh Brolin as well. And there's probably going to be a lot of awesome action sequences here. So we'll see what, my schedule's looking like around when this movie comes out. November, things start getting busy, especially when you have kids and stuff. But it looks great. I agree. It looks like a really entertaining action movie. It looks like it definitely drives home a message as well. And also looks like there's some humor in there too. There's going to be some comic relief. And Glen Powell has really underrated timing when it comes to that. And I think Edgar Wright is good at capturing humor in these types of action-based movies as well. So I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I think it's a good trailer. But now we move on to our next segment, What You Watching.
We can never leave the house, and would just probably sit around all weekend and watch TV.
Go on.
All right, Lacey, it is time to review Squid Game Season 3. It is over, but it's not over because, spoilers, by the way, we said at the top, so if you're listening, don't get mad if we ruin the squid, okay?
We did
Now,
warn you.
It's not over because Kate Blanchett rolls up at the end. And we're heading to LA. So our hero's sacrifice had regional minimal impact, but
And not even that.
as we approach our review here of Squid Game 3. So Lacey, I think you're probably a bigger fan of Squid Game than me. I really like it, but I
Yeah.
think you know it better. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it to you. You watched it before me, and I think you were waiting for me to watch it, and I did.
Yes.
But let's talk about it. What'd you think of how they closed it out?
So I'm going to start by saying that I think the premise is super interesting. I think season 1 was like top notch, 11 out of 10 television. Like hooked me immediately. I was so into it. Season 2, I'm like, okay, where are they going with this? Oh, they got the guard point of view. Why are we doing this? And then of course the baby, which then led to season 3, which obviously from the creator's own mouth, he said that he wanted to give 2 seasons and Netflix told him, no, you need to give 3. And you could tell from the pacing of season 1, verse 2 and 3. My thought, like I said at the beginning of the episode, is that they should have just stayed with 1 season. They should have kept it at 1 season and just left it as it is. And if they wanted to keep going, they should have had Lee Jung-jae go to the US or be a part of the US games or figure out something else is going on. They shouldn't have done all that stuff to bring him back to these. It just felt like a cheap shot. That's where it ultimately ended for me. Now, obviously everybody dies. Spoiler alert. Everybody dies, including Ji-hoon, Lee Jung-jae's character, which makes me sad because as Star Wars fans, he also dies in The Acolyte. Spoiler alert. So I was hoping that he made it out of this one. But to me, it just felt like there was no point. Like I didn't get the payoff that I got in season 1. In season 1, you learn about the organization, you get a glimpse of who's behind it and why they're behind it, and kind of all these threads of human nature and the good versus evil. And then the storyline, which is his friend's storyline from season 1, who he grew up with, and then turns on him and the girl, and he murders the other girl who you get a glimpse of in this season. then it turns into the battle one-on-one between him and Ji-hoon. His character arc was so perfect that anything came after that wouldn't have been as good. Like they kind of shot themselves, pun intended, because that character was just such a good turn that you were like, I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
And it's hard to kind of understand why Ji-hoon, Lee Jung-jae's character, would do what he did when in the first season he leaves the games, then goes back anyway, then wins, and then says, no, I didn't just win. I'm going to take them all down. But then goes back again and then ultimately dies. And the evil people get away. They blow everything up. Somehow the baby survives. And everybody around them still, like, there was no hope coming out of it. Whereas the first season, everybody dies, but there's this glimmer of hope of, well, Ji-hoon got out, so he's going to do what's right. He's going to figure out some way to make this work. But then he just gets sucked back into it. So season 2 and 3, all this stuff keeps happening, and you're like, oh, so there is no hope. And it just kind of puts you in this, for me at least, this feeling of, if you have all this money and all this power, no matter what you do, you're going to get away with it because you have all this power and all this money. And it doesn't matter if people join together to try to take you down, if people try to hold you accountable, like Hwang, the brother who's the detective, tried to get the police involved and the Coast Guard involved and tried to get all these other cops to investigate them. It doesn't matter. And that hopelessness left me feeling not great. Now, I knew going into this it wasn't going to be good as in an ending, because the creator said sometimes stories, we talked about last week, sometimes stories don't have happy endings. And this is one of those stories. And I get it. And I know that season 1, he was, making a worldview commentary of capitalism and the way that the classes are so separated, rich versus poor. The character Ji-hoon is from a car company that they do like some type of strike, and then a bunch of people died. Like, I believe that really happened in Korea. Like, that's a real life thing that happened that then he put in the show. And then it was a big drama because then you had Honda or Toyota doing like a Squid Game, like, hey, look at us, funny social post. And everyone was like, in the show, this guy, people were killing the car factory. So it was like totally tone deaf. And it just looks, from the beginning of season 2 to the end of season 3, it felt to me like nothing was resolved. It was just like, yep, this happened. And it was a blip in the system. And there's so many, obviously, other games going on, including in America. Oh, and by the way, here's Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
And it was just such a jarring difference of, why would they be playing that game in America? That makes no sense. Because the whole premise was they were playing these games that were childhood games in Korea. So why would a homeless man be playing this game with Cate Blanchett in LA, except if Netflix was like, hey, look, we just want to make more shows.
Yeah, the only part that I did like was number 11 assassin, like checking on the guy and that his daughter was okay, and she didn't reveal who she was when he was drunk.
That was weird too. So she checks on him, right? Then she goes to the airport to go meet up with her daughter. Now, when she looked at the file in the Squid Game building, it said that her daughter was dead.
Right.
Then you have this guy who's the adoption agency guy who is also giving money to Ji-hoon's friend's son. He's like in the middle of all this stuff, saying, hey, you're going to be there, right? And she's like, yeah, he's in the airport. And he looks at her and he goes, oh, I can't make it to the airport. I'm so sorry. When he's in the airport looking at her, and then walks out. I feel like they're setting her up to have her wake up and be in the American Squid Game.
Yeah, that. I just meant the only part I liked was that guy's sick daughter was okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with the strawberry hat. Yeah, that's a good.
But yeah, beyond that, it was not a happy ending at all. I do like that, Lee Jung-jae, in my opinion, was a better Jedi in this than he was in The Acolyte.
Oh my
Like,
God, he was brilliant in this.
he was so unflinching, and he refused to buckle. He refused to become what they've created. And I do like that scene where the front man gave him the knife and put him in the situation where he could get the easy win. And he
He
was
did that
tempted,
himself.
and he didn't do it. And then we flash back to him being in that situation previously and him doing it. And it shows the differences, the stark contrast between the two men. And I like the front man watching Ji-hoon not do it, because I think he put him in that situation and gave him the knife because he wanted to convince himself that if a man as good as Ji-hoon could do that act,
Then he's not a bad person.
Then he's unburdened by him doing it. And the fact that Ji-hoon didn't do it, he realized, wow, I'm a piece of garbage. Like, I am a bad guy. So I love that whole segment. Was probably the best part of the series for me, for this season. I mean, not series, for this season. There was a while there where I was hoping the girl was faking a pregnancy and she was like a part of it. And then once her water broke, like 2 minutes after I had that thought, I'm like, oh no. And then the other part that I didn't like was, like, that baby was 100% CG. And like there was
it actually looked okay, but yeah, it was 100%.
Yeah, and just how they sort of did the last game, I felt was a little predictable in what was going to happen. I didn't like the flipping and flopping from the guy who said he was going to take care of her and the baby, and then he became selfish, and I didn't care about him by the end. And then I was like, you're reading the room and you're looking at what's around. You're like, oh crap, it's just gonna be him and the baby, and then he's gonna jump off the damn thing, and that's how it's gonna end. And that's what happened. So I did feel a little disappointed by the end. I didn't love. I was surprised seeing Kate Blanchett and seeing the front man in L.A., but I guess that's what she's gonna be in David Fincher's version, I guess, and that's the reveal there. And I agree with you. You made a great point. You're like, because if they're continuing it, then like what he did meant nothing. And that's how it does feel. It feels very deflating. It was still a very entertaining show. I feel like it sort of got worse each season. The games were interesting. They were suspenseful. They did do a good job of making me feel like, what would I do in this situation? The way they shot a lot of it. So I felt like I was immersed in it.
They did a lot more handheld, like in your face shooting.
Especially the one where they were being hunted. The red vest versus the black vest. That was intense.
Was that the hide and seek game?
Yeah. With the keys and all that, and
that one was so intense.
Yeah. So it was fine. It just it kind of fell flat, and you could see that maybe they tried to stretch the dough out a bit too much on it. So.
Yeah, it feels like I just didn't get a lot of things solved. Like, first of all, the worst part of this season was the VIPs. They were so poorly acted.
They should have killed them.
They were so bad, and the whole idea that they were going and like shooting people as cleanup is like really weird. Because I felt like season 1, the VIPs, they had that Texan guy with the cowboy hat who was like, "Oh yeah, I like men,"
like oil tycoon.
Yeah. But they weren't not believable. These guys were just, I don't know why they chose these ones. They were so bad. Like, the acting was so horrific.
Like I told you, I thought their voices were dubbed. That's how bad their acting was. Like, it was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but and like just stuff didn't add up. Like the fisherman guy was like hanging out with the people from Squid Game.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that I was like, this doesn't make sense in the bigger scheme of things, but there were glimmers of stuff. I loved the transgender character. I thought she was amazing. That was the most disappointing, depressing kill in the whole season. I was so sad when that happened, and I was like, please no. Especially when she takes her thumb and goes like this and wipes blood across her face. That was like the most badass moment of the whole series. Like with the knife. Yeah. Oh, so good. And she's like standing in front of the rainbow and she's just like running, like so good. Um, and I was so happy to see that stupid spiritual woman die. The one that was like, the ghosts are speaking to me.
Oh yeah,
Such a
yeah.
good kill. Such a
She
good
was
kill.
the worst. Yeah.
Um, overall, I think the biggest disappointment is that I don't think that I'm that creative, and I guessed this whole season. I guessed that I was going to end in America because as soon as they announced, like, David Fincher series, I was like, they're going to try to tie these together. And we had talked about this previously with season 2, I think, that like, could this series end with, oh, this is just one of multiple games? Like, there's a game in Brazil, there's a game in America, there's a game, wherever. Um, I guessed the whole idea of like her having the baby, and then that's the only way you could get Ji-hoon to be like the ultimate good guy is there has to be a baby involved. It's kind of like the Mandalorian. Like we're
Yeah.
back in the same character setup of, oh, old grumpy man with baby. And that's literally what happened again. I love this show so much that it just makes me sad that it didn't end in a way that like for me felt satisfying. I did like the games though. I thought the games were still really good. It's just really hard to hit something perfectly another time. Like to hit the first one is just so good. That first season is so perfect that it's really hard.
That's a lot of stuff. A lot of
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
But the guard thing was just, I don't know, it felt weird to me and a little off. Whereas now I'm questioning, like, why was she even in there? Where are they going now? How is that going to feed into the American version? Which I think we're going to see characters make the trip over. Because Ji-hoon, or not Ji-hoon, frontman, Young Eel, could be the lead game guy over in America now because the other one blew up.
And then what do they do with the languages? Do they have some people speaking Korean, some people speaking English?
I don't know. Does he speak English? I haven't seen him doing interviews. I know Lee Jung-jae doesn't speak English, but maybe the guy that plays...
I mean, he learned for the Acolyte, literally learned his dialogue. But it was fine. I hope people are entertained by it. It's still entertaining, and that's,
It still broke records. It was the #1 show in 90 countries for Netflix. It still did amazing, and I'm glad the creator of it is finally getting paid because he didn't get paid very well for the first season. So I'm sure he's finally getting paid for like the Squid Game universe now.
Does he own the brand or no? Does Netflix?
I don't know if he
brand?
owns the brand, but I know the first thing he had said out loud, like that he only got paid like $300,000, and it was like the #1 streaming thing that they've ever had on this on the platform.
Yeah.
So then they upped his payment the second time around. But yeah, and I think a lot of people, especially for me at least, this series opened up a whole new world of watching great Korean television that has subtitles. Like I don't even think about it now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I watched with subtitles. Yep.
And it was interesting to see other, cultures represented on the screen, and just like the music of the series is so good too. That's something that will always stick with me, like the theme song, and like my little kids, Daisy loves that stupid merry-go-round song.
Oh, Johnny plays it all the time.
I feel like I'm gonna die in my own house. We've talked about this. Could they have done things differently? Sure. I think for the American one, I'm pumped because it's David Fincher. As you know, I love him, but I just can't believe they went with Cate Blanchett as like the recruiter person, because the recruiter for the Squid Game in Korea was so good that it's because it is someone that looks like they'll blend into the sidewalk. Whereas you can't see Cate Blanchett on the sidewalk and be like, she doesn't look like someone.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I mean, but ultimately,
it was a good show though. I give it a good show. It's entertaining. Yeah. I think season 1's perfect. If you wanted to watch one season, just watch one.
Yeah, I'll have fond memories of Squid Game looking back, because it definitely identifies with a moment in time.
Sure.
But beyond that, I put this in the show notes before I heard the news that it was canceled, but I'm halfway through The Residence on Netflix. It's a fun little whodunit. And if you want to have a nice, lighter, less suspenseful, but also you like mystery, it's pretty entertaining so far. We'll see how they land the plane. Hopefully not with a cliffhanger because it got canceled.
Oh no.
Today. So
Oh,
we'll see what
no.
happens. But that's it. I haven't finished Ironheart yet, so I'll give my review on that next week, hopefully. And I haven't.
Is it good? Should I try it?
I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. I'm watching for our boy. Okay.
I know,
I'm
Alden.
watching for
Yeah.
Alden Aaron, right? But yeah, it's not bad, you know. And then I haven't even started the Bear season 4. I heard it's not as good.
Ooh, yeah, I've heard that.
And it's also been already renewed for season 5. So I don't know how many years of this life this guy's going to be sad cooking, but we'll find out.
I saw someone tweeted something along the lines of like, how did they fumble this so poorly?
Oh no. All right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that means John Bernthal's not in it. Maybe that's how they fumbled it. But Lacey, have you watched anything else, or was it Squid Game?
I
Bluey?
mean, it was Squid Game and Bluey, and
All right.
I watched the cricket episode today, and I thought of you because it's kind of like their baseball.
Oh. Yeah.
I've been
never
telling
played
you, like,
cricket,
if you were
actually.
to watch one episode, that's your episode.
If I ever go back to the UK, maybe I'll try to get into a cricket game or something.
It's not about cricket. It's like the game of cricket, which reminds me how you feel about baseball. Like it's a very father-son baseball episode.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
That's why I think you'd like it. But yeah, so that Mr. Rogers, Tom's Dinklage, and then
The
Squid Game.
usuals. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
and then
right.
just dying.
Yeah.
Squid Game.
All the death in Squid Game.
I mean, Squid Game is what, 8 episodes, 6 episodes?
6 this time, I think.
So that's pretty good for me. 6 hours
Yeah.
of TV in 1 week. Oof,
Yeah.
doing it.
Intense 6 hours for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening and watching. We hope we killed those Monday blues that you have on a post-holiday weekend. Of course, any of our listeners outside the U.S., we hope you had a good Monday anyway. But thank you for listening and watching and getting nerdy with us. Mondays are for the nerds, and we thank you for doing that with us today. Make sure you follow Nerdy and Nice Pod on social media. Make sure you subscribe to the show. It has its own podcast feed, so just look up Nerdy and Nice, Apple, Spotify, where have you. Also, the YouTube channel. TRB YouTube channel is youtube.com/@TRBpodcasts. So you can watch the video version there for this and the Resistance broadcast. And Lacey and I will be back with you Thursday morning with another episode of TRB as well. Big shout out over on Patreon. If you like what we do, if you support what we do, please check it out. Patreon.com/TRB podcasts. Tiers start at $5. It's a thank you from us to you in terms of what we put on the page. We have a lot of exclusive content there, mini episodes every week. We did a watch along of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom recently. You can watch it with us. It's living on the page. You can check that out. We have a Discord server. We do live chats. We do hangouts, meetups, a lot of stuff tied to what we call the Resistance Space over on our Patreon. So please check it out. If you can support us, thank you very much. We know times are crazy now, so we totally get it. But any support you can give us helps us go a long way. And a big shout out to the Movie Star Generals and Silver Screen Spice Runners. The Generals are Carmelo, John Risi, Jetta Rosewater, Frank Grande, Chris Morales, Mike Ramori, Brendan McLaughlin, Sneaky Zebra, Dave Hornack, Colin Cormier, Stephen Garrow, Sachi, and Darth Snips. And the Silver Screen Spice Runners are David Probus, Neil Shaw, KENDALL, GELNER, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, THEFORTWORTHIAN, and Brian Smith. Johnny Hoey for me on Blue Sky and Twitter, X, whatever. Who cares? The Yankees stink right now, so I'm not happy about it.
What happened?
But they're just not playing good baseball at all, except Judge, of course. But they need to do some wheeling and dealing and get some real players on this team. Anyway, Lacey, where can people hit you up to talk about Yankees baseball?
People can hit me up to talk about Squid Game at Lacey Gilleran and at It's Lacey Gilleran on TikTok.
All right. Good stuff. Thanks for having fun with us, everybody. We'll see you next week with a new episode. And again, Star Wars fans, of course, Resistance broadcast Thursday morning. And we hope everyone has a wonderful week. And we'll see you next time right here on Nerdy and Nice. Until then, see you around, kids.